Hi everyone, welcome to our session today. We will be running through our communication skills for the workplace. So today we'll have our Manager of Language Support Programs, Anne Kiely, going through some further information for you. And we will also have one of our current students, Chunshan Li, who will be answering a few questions and telling us a bit about her experience in the program. So firstly, I would like to start with an acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge the Palawa Pakana of Lutruwita, the traditional owners of the land upon which we live and work. We pay respects to elders past and present as the knowledge holders and sharers. We honour their strong culture and knowledges as vital to the self-determination, well-being and resilience of their communities. We stand for a future that profoundly respects and acknowledges Aboriginal perspectives, culture, language, and history. So thank you again for joining us today. I will now hand over to Anne Kiely, who will run you through some more information.
Thanks, Liv. Hi, everybody. My name is Anne Kiely, and I'm really thrilled to talk to you about a program that we've got up and running on Open Universities Australia, and it's called Communication Skills for the Workplace. First of all, I'm just going to talk to you about the rationale for this unit and what students can gain from completing this unit. Communication skills for the workplace is designed to develop students' communication skills and, importantly, their confidence in preparation for the Australian and global workplace. So the purpose of this program is to support you specifically with your English language proficiency, but also with your cultural awareness in adjusting to not only the Australian workplace, but also any workplace in your home country where English language is a requirement. So, as I mentioned, the emphasis is absolutely on English language proficiency, and we focus on certain skills, and these skills include, obviously, vocabulary. We do emphasise workplace vocabulary, but we also do include some local colloquialisms, specifically Australian colloquialisms, for those students that are preparing for the Australian workplace. But we also do focus on general global workplace vocabulary. We pay attention to pronunciation and clarity of expression. We focus on your fluency and also general sentence structure so that you have a command and greater confidence over your grammatical control over the way that you communicate. So apart from the English language proficiency side of our unit, we also place emphasis on those soft skills that are so highly valued in the workplace. It's quite a well-known fact these days in the recruitment process that recruiters are looking not only at graduates' technical skills that they would have developed in their university degree or their previous work experience, but also in those nuanced soft skills that are often not taught at university or at school. And those skills generally focus on the way that you present yourself in the workplace. So some of those soft skills can include things like active listening, teamwork, problem-solving skills, and generally those day-to-day communication skills that you are required to do every day at work. For instance, communicating with colleagues, communicating with your supervisors or even your senior managers, the appropriate ways to communicate with clients, patients, if that's relevant to your area, and general stakeholders that you would have contact as a part of your portfolio at work. So this is what our unit is about. It's focusing most definitely on developing your confidence with regards to your English language proficiency, but also placing emphasis on those all-important soft skills that recruiters really value in graduates. So let me give you a little bit more information about what's quite unique about this program. Our program is unique in that we require students to attend classes on a very regular basis. So in fact, we do require students to attend a minimum of 80% to all of our classes. Why? The reason is that if you attend classes, you communicate. You're required to communicate not only with your teacher, but also importantly with your classmates. When you communicate, you become a better communicator. When you're a better communicator, you are a confident communicator and a more confident graduate. So it helps you with your adjustments to the workplace. So that's the first thing that's quite unique. We ask you to give us your time. But the trade-off with that is that we don't require you to go offline and do numerous essays or reports or research assignments that traditionally university units require you to do. We don't ask you to do that, but what we really do ask you is to give us your time. So that means 80% attendance to our classes. We have 3 hours of classes per week, but what we do is we chop those 3 hours into 2 sessions of 90 minutes. From past experience, we have realized that it works very well to make 2 sessions of 90 minutes because that works well in terms of your energy levels, students' energy levels, but also your engagement levels. So as I mentioned before, we do require you to be engaging at all times in our classes. So the camera is on at all times, your microphone is on, because that's the focus of our classes. We're also really passionately proud of the fact that all of our teachers are professional academic English language instructors. And in fact, they are based at the English Language Centre. They have extensive experience working with international students, but also with domestic students as well, in helping them to refine their communication skills. All of our teachers have international experience as well as Australia experience. So in terms of the availability of our course, it is offered in semester 1 and in semester 2, and the duration of the course is 14 weeks. So let me tell you a little bit more about the uniqueness of our program. So as I mentioned before, we require your time because there is this interaction that happens in every one of our sessions. So the unit is highly practical in nature. You will be required to actively participate in all sessions, not only with your teacher, but with each other as well. Let me tell you about some of the assessment tasks that we will be doing over this 14-week period. The assessment tasks require you to engage in real life workplace scenarios, and you'll be engaging with either your teacher, but as well with your classmates. You'll be doing some mock workplace meetings. For instance, you will be doing a negotiation meeting or a problem-solving meeting. You will be engaging in mock job interviews, and importantly, you'll be getting some personalised feedback on your performance in the job interview. We'll be doing numerous workplace role plays. Let me give you a couple of examples of these role plays. For instance, how to engage with your manager if you've made a mistake and you don't know how to approach your manager. What is the language that you use? What's the vocabulary that you use that makes you feel confident and safe in approaching your manager, where you can transparently say that you've made a mistake? This is what happens. What are our next steps? Another workplace role play that we do is, how do you ask for clarification if you've not understood something, and you've not understood an instruction, or you've not understood a particular workplace assignment that you're given? It's fully understandable that you might feel embarrassed or shy about admitting that you don't understand something, so we've got some role plays where we can run through scenarios where you approach your manager or your supervisor to ask for clarification. We will also be practicing some workplace emails, and importantly, we'll be focusing on the difference between formal language and informal language with emails. We'll be doing lots of telephone practice, how to initiate a telephone conversation, how to end a telephone conversation, how to leave a voicemail message as well. So these are some of the things that we are going to be doing, and you will be given personalised feedback on your performance in this. So obviously all the classes are online, but the uniqueness is that they are interactive at all times. So what I'm now going to do is I'd like to introduce you to one of our students who has completed skills for the workplace. Chunshan Li is a current UTAS student, and she's studying a Master of Professional Accounting, and she's focusing on sustainable, specialising in accountable for sustainable business. Before she started at University of Tasmania, she has for sustainable business. Before she started at University of Tasmania, she had 10 years experience in sports management events and organising sporting events, and she's quite passionate about this industry. And we're so happy to learn that Chunshan has successfully secured an internship with Deloitte as well, in which she will be required to communicate in English language. So thanks very much, Chunshan, for joining us. We know that you're really busy. Chunshan, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about your experiences with communication skills for the workplace. Tell us, first of all, what are some of the things that you enjoyed or appreciated when you did the workshops with communication skills for the workplace?
Well, my favorite part of the communication skills for workplace is the small talk. Well, it's not only the small talk skills I've learned from this unit, but also the small talk and the talks I had with my teachers between and after the class. As an international student, I don't have too many friends here in Australia, so it's very important that I have someone to talk to. So I still remember very clearly, and you and I, we had this conversation before our class about my favorite book, about movie and TV show. And with Glenn, my another teacher, we also had the conversation about basketball and football. So, well, I feel that when I had this talk with my teachers, at that moment, they were not only teachers, they were my friends. So that made me feel like home and feel welcomed in this country. And with those talks, I built my confidence to have conversation with native speakers. And actually, at the same time, you are also the teacher, so you can listen to me patiently, and you nicely and gently corrected the mistake I made when I'm talking. So all this experience very helpful to build my skills to communicate. Yeah. So small talk is my favorite part, and yeah, and I use that skills a lot in my daily life with my neighbors, with my classmates, and in some other social events. Yeah,
that's great.
Enjoy that.
To know. Chunshan, is there anything that surprised you about doing this unit that was an unexpected thing for you?
Well, yes, there is. As you just introduced, that in this unit we have some mock business scenarios, like arrange a meeting or having a negotiation or solve a problem and writing formal emails. And before I came to Australia, I had a long history working in real business world. So when I came to this unit, when I joined these scenarios, mock scenarios, I found out that, oh, they were so real. All the skills I've been trained in my previous career, but in Chinese language. And now here with the communication skills workplace unit, I have the opportunity to train all these skills in English language, which will be very useful in my future career here in Australia.
Yeah, great. What advice would you give to a student who is thinking about enrolling in communication skills for the workplace?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. Stop thinking, just take it. It's really from my own experience, it's very helpful. And to be honest, at the beginning of the class, I thought it was a English class. But when I took several workshops, I realized it's not only about the English language, but it's about communication. So not only for international students, but I think for anyone, English speaker, non-English speaker, if you want to be a better speaker, a better listener in the workplace, you should take this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Chunshan, for joining us. We really appreciate your feedback on this.
Thank you so much for having me.
So finally, I would like to round up our presentation. So if you would like to get some more information about this unit, you can scan the QR code and that will take you to the information page on Open Universities Australia, and it will also lead you to the enrolment page as well. But of course, you can also send me an email if you've got any queries. So once again, we warmly invite you to enrol in this course, whether you are an international student, a domestic student, or a student that comes from a background where your first language is not English. We find that this would be a highly practical and rewarding unit for you. Thank you, everybody.